We welcome our guests. I come from a family of combat veterans going back a long time. And my comment is the use of certain words and what they imply. When I hear warrior ethos, and I hear it a lot from you, Mr. Secretary, I'm concerned. All the soldiers in our family, all of whom fought and received medals for their combat service, call themselves soldiers. Marines are trained to kill. In terms of domestic policing, our police and our National Guard at the state level, carefully used, but also our state police.
Hey everyone, welcome back to True Voice. I'm Andrew. We've got a powerful reaction today. This one's about a congressional hearing that got real and touched on some issues every American should hear. Let's get into it.
Are used in civil enforcement, and they are good. I don't need any reply. I just am concerned about what those words you often utter actually do in people's minds and change the language we have used since the founding of this republic. So that is a concern of mine. I wanted to go to the General and Chairman, if I could. We've heard a lot this morning about defense industrial base. And this is something I ran for office on a long time ago. We have not made significant progress as a country in this regard. And the places that made things, whether they were machine tools, whether it was composite materials, were left behind. It's one of the reasons for the division in our society. So I am very interested in knowing what specifically and in which accounts, and I hope you can get this back to us within a week and a half, you are going to focus on in order to inject additional resources in the defense industrial base of this country. What will that look like? We are just successful now in helping steel to revive and some of our composite metals. 40 years ago, I wrote a title to the defense bill dealing with strategic metals. Nobody at Department of Defense cared, okay? So I'm interested in which accounts, if you could kindly get back to me on that, and when you say defense industrial base, budget-wise, in which account, what does that mean? All right, I don't expect you to answer it now. Can you tell me when you might get that information back to us?
Well, ma'am, you just said a week and a half, so I know the awesome humans behind me are scribbling madly to come back to that. Can I just make a quick comment? You know, I happen to be a lucky guy that served in the private sector for a while, and I ran a machine shop in Texas along with a metal finishing business. So when we talk about defense industrial base, I broaden that out to really the national industrial base. There are certain components that are made in the defense side, but as you articulate, ma'am, many others are made in the small machine shops out around this entire nation. When I talk about mobilizing our nation, I think of that national, not just defense industrial base. What do we have to do to create greater capacity all the way down the chain to include jobs at the local level for those people that build quality parts and deliver on time with shorter lead time and lower cost? And so I have great empathy for what you're talking about, and we'll get back to you just as soon as we can.
Yes, and General and Secretary, going back to the drone attack in Ukraine, a country that was invaded by the Russian dictatorship, starting in 2014. They've been at war for a decade, more than a decade. What they've done with drones is astounding. It's going to change warfare. One of my questions is, what are you doing to establish relations with Ukraine and not turn your back on them as an administration and help them win, help liberty win? This has implications way beyond the boundaries of Ukraine. Russia's got 11 time zones. I mean, this is the most important test of liberty for our NATO alliance in my lifetime, and we better help win. And that involves moving forward faster on drone technology. I'm very worried about our air bases where we have secure assets. Mr. Secretary, can we defend them today if they were to have a similar attack?
We're certainly very focused on that, ma'am. And we're learning every day from Ukraine. I think we would need to clarify what win means. This president is committed to peace. He's committed to stopping the killing. And he was not in office when it started in 2014. There were no additional incursions in his first term. And then under the previous administration, Vladimir Putin sought to take Ukraine. We're committed. This administration's committed to peace, to stopping the killing, and we think that serves
Did you just
American
leave
interests.
Ukraine, Mr. Secretary? Did you just leave Ukraine?
Young lady's time's expired, but if you can get
I did
back
not leave
to
Ukraine.
us on that.
No,
that
ma'am.
Have
would
you
be great.
visited Ukraine?
No, ma'am.
My first trip
No.
there, sir, was 1973.
Young lady's
I yield
time
back.
has expired. Mr. Carter, you're recognized for 5 minutes.
For your service to our country. We're very proud of you. I'm fully supportive of the Army's outgoing modernization efforts and the recent Army Transformation Initiative that combined the Army's Future Command with TRADOC to become the Transformational and Training Command. How are you?
Okay, right off the bat, this veteran stood up and made a point that really landed with me. He's not attacking anyone. He's not making noise for the cameras. He's concerned, deeply concerned, about the language we use when talking about our military and police. Terms like warrior ethos might sound cool to some, but honestly, that's not how we should talk about people sworn to protect and serve in a constitutional republic. As a Democrat and a patriot, I completely get what he's saying. We don't need militarized language creeping into how we view our National Guard or police. That kind of language shifts how we see one another. It's subtle, but it changes the mindset, and that matters. Words shape culture. Words shape policy. Then he moves on to talk about America's industrial base, something that doesn't get nearly enough attention. He's saying what a lot of us on the left have been saying for years. We abandoned entire communities when we outsourced jobs and let our manufacturing sectors collapse. That didn't just hurt local economies, it divided our country. This isn't just about tanks and missiles. It's about machine shops in Ohio, about welders in Pennsylvania, about real opportunity in every zip code. This isn't a partisan issue. It's an American issue. Now, when the conversation shifts to Ukraine, let me be clear. Supporting Ukraine is supporting freedom, supporting sovereignty, and standing up to authoritarianism. This war didn't start in 2022. Russia invaded Ukraine in 2014. And what Ukraine has done with drones and asymmetric warfare is groundbreaking. They're fighting not just for themselves, but for a model of democracy under siege. I respect the Secretary's focus on peace. We all want peace. But peace without justice, peace without liberty, that's just surrender. And we can't afford to turn our backs. We need to move faster, with more clarity, with more purpose. And when she asked whether the Secretary had actually visited Ukraine, that wasn't just a gotcha question. Leadership means showing up, seeing things firsthand, meeting with allies. You can't lead from the sidelines, and I hope that message landed. So here's my takeaway. Language matters. Investment in our people matters. Democracy, both abroad and here at home, matters. We can't play political games with the soul of our country or the safety of our allies. We need leadership rooted in truth, backed by action, and guided by the values that built this republic. If you believe in a strong America that leads with its values, subscribe to True Voice right now. Let's keep standing up for democracy, justice, and honest leadership. I'm Andrew. Thanks for watching. Stay informed, stay grounded, and I'll see you next time.